Lieutenant Commander Chris Farraker, PXO, Crew 106, USS Detroit. Good morning. I'm Lieutenant Commander Farraker, Executive Officer, USS Detroit. The Commander Officer sends his regrets that he can't be here today, but he is meeting with the Detroit's mayor as we speak. Today, our ship and crew have much to be grateful for. From our commissioning committee, the local Navy League, and the local area partners for organizing this, not just this ceremony, but the great visit planned for this week. Our heartfelt thanks go to this great city for making us feel like a family. The Detroit you see behind me is the 6th ship to bear the name of the Motor City. The current USS Detroit began at ship's commissioning. This was the official act placing this warship you see behind me into active service. A little over 2 years ago, the life and service of Detroit began right next door in Wisconsin. Today she stands before you as a proud representative of the United States and of your city. The new high-tech USS Detroit is a Freedom-class littoral combat ship that's fast, agile, and designed for a variety of missions in coastal waters against submarines and surface ships. She's able to conduct missions stemming from minesweeping to humanitarian relief. In fact, the first in her class, the USS Freedom, is currently off the coast of the Philippines right now, helping support humanitarian relief to the Philippines. Capable of open ocean operations, her modular design supports interchangeable mission packages which allow the ship to be reconfigured for anti-submarine warfare, mine warfare, or surface warfare. Previous USS Detroit, CL-8, was a light cruiser and one of the few ships to actually successfully get underway during the attack of Pearl Harbor. Due to her success during World War II, she was moored with the battleship Missouri during the surrender ceremony in Tokyo Bay, 1945. The USS Detroit, you will see, will carry on that great tradition of U.S. Navy ships named after this great city. Mrs. Barbara Levin, who is right here, is the wife of Senator Carl Levin, was selected by Secretary of Navy Ray Mabus to be the sponsor of this ship. As sponsor, she fills an important role in supporting the Detroit crew members and their families, as well as continuing our everlasting ties between the Navy and the city of Detroit. She's already experienced some of the training as some of our sailors go through by driving the ship simulators of the Detroit. In closing, thank you again, not only for this week, but for the great beginning the ship has seen and future visits. We're here to make the citizens of Detroit, the United States of America, proud, and we thank you for your continued support. Any questions? Any questions? No, thank you. Yes.
Sir, Captain Devine from the local Navy League. We always love to hear anyone from the ship come to talk. Could you tell me if the current version of USS Detroit has any part of Detroit incorporated into the ship? I know when USS New York was commissioned, pieces of the World Trade Center were incorporated into the actual body of the ship. Is there anything like that on Detroit?
There has. Mr. John McCandless, who is the head of the Navy League, has actually taken parts and pieces of the local downtown Detroit, various artifacts plus a piece of Joe Louis's fist right in the heart of the city are actually part of the steel that was fabricated within. I know that there's been discussions that we've had with the city of Detroit about actually getting some different artifacts and exchanging Navy artifacts with Detroit and put them in the ship so everyone can see.
Sir, Dave Drive with the Detroit News. The recent sequestration and the Navy's significant budget cuts that has been experienced, how has that impacted the LCS program? I know it was supposed to be over 50 ships in the class, but now it's something less than that. What are your thoughts on that?
Sir, overall for the LCS program, I can't speak to that. I can only unfortunately speak with for LCS 7 Detroit. And within that, you see the ship before you. It's built, ready to fight, and we're actually going to start our training cycle here shortly once we leave Detroit. Sir.
John Baker from the Liberty High School local paper. I've got a question about the LCS ships. So I see two different types. What type is yours?
My type is what is known as the monohull or the #1 class. They're made by Lockheed Martin, and that is the ones before me. Basically, all the odd number ships are that class. The other class, the class with hips, is the LCS-2. That's made down in Mobile, and that is the even numbers: Coronado, Jackson, Independence.
Is there a reason why they're so much different and they're still considered LCSs?
Absolutely. By design, it was made by two different contractors to be able to get the best and the brightest that you can have out in the commercial world put in two different ships. So while you have one design that is look more traditional, like ours, you have another design that is a little bit out of the box. But within that, they both carry its own advantages. Particularly for the LCS-2 class, they can carry a large number of big helos. So when you're conducting humanitarian operations, like what's going on off the coast of Philippines right now, you're able to land and take off numerous helicopters. While ours is made for more speedy interventions and able to exchange those mission modules that I talked to before.
So did you choose your ship that you got to command?
Oh, no, sir, I did not. I was told to be good and be glad. I could have been in tugboat, and I would have been very happy.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, Martina Dell from the local Sea Cadets. One of the recent issues that's been brought up military-wide is sexual assault and the prevention of sexual assault. We have a number of female Sea Cadets, and I'm concerned about encouraging them to come into the Navy in particular because of sexual assault. How do you all do training and prevention of that type of thing? How do I know that these women are going to be safe when they join the Navy?
Very good question. First of all, training against sexual assault is not just a Navy event. It is an entire Department of Defense, U.S. government event. And we're training folks to be the exact same thing. Everyone is to be treated equally, and that anything along the lines of sexual harassment, sexual assault will not be tolerated, hands down, period. Many of the current sailors and future sailors will be receiving multiple tiered training on sexual assault. 1, how to report it. 2, how to recognize it. And 3, what to do if they think they see it. In each of those, it is multiple tiers of advice, ability to pick up the phone and ask a question. So at the very least, people are able to go up to their shipmate, go up to a friend, go up to their chief, divo, or division officer, excuse me, or anyone before that and say, hey, I think here's an issue. There's a plethora of help out there to help support and stamp out sexual assault, sexual harassment.